Okay, we're ready to begin the reassembly process. It's going to take some time, but should be good. There's a better look at that thing under there. It's like a foam kind of material. Absolutely brilliant design. Has completely saved the condenser from looking like that. At some point I'm going to have to strip this case down and repaint it, but that's not a project for today. That's where it drains out over there, goes into the back. Those three holes on the back, can't quite get it on the camera because the cord is too short, but that's how it works. That's all clear and ready to drain out. So let's begin the fun of getting this to somehow go back together. So we're going to start by mounting the fan motor back onto this, which hopefully will be okay. It's kind of flaking apart a bit, but I think it may be alright. Upside down? Yes, it is. That's why it wasn't making any sense. Okay, now it's making more sense. Okay, fan motor's in place. Now let's see here. I think don't remember. Let's see here. We take the evaporator shroud, which still has a couple traces of mold on here, but at least it's good enough that I can run it without thinking I'm going to get sick. Got to slide on, or it's got to be something different than the way it came off. I just can't imagine that that's the way it's supposed to be. Unless, does it slide up from the bottom perhaps? No, because then it would get caught on here. I guess it's gonna have to go back on the way it came off. I think it's kind of absurd. That just may be what it is. And this does not fit through there, so this has to go on first. I'm not content with the freeness of the bearings, but I think they're rooted beyond what a little bit of oil is going to fix. I think there's a bigger issue with them. It's not terrible, but it's not what it should be either. So unfortunately that's just going to be a run it till it doesn't work anymore and then replace it kind of a situation. Which probably could be decades from now. It's, you know, this stuff, it's built to run, and if it takes some abuse it keeps going. So I don't really expect the motor to fail anytime soon. The bearings may get noisy or something like that, but chances are it'll be running for quite some time. And it may get better as it runs, because I just put the oil in the bearings, you know, like in half an hour ago. It may take some time to seep down into the bearings where it's really got to go to. I think that should be somewhere right about there. We can adjust that. It should be very close to the shroud, but I'll adjust it better once we get this in place. So I think what I did is that kind of was there like that, and just jammed it in. I don't like doing this way at all. There's got to be a better way to do this. I just don't know what it is. Well, it's back on. I really have a hard time believing that that's the way it's supposed to operate, but I don't really know how else it would operate. And it's just such a stupid feature. This is not colliding with anything. It's a little bit far in for my preference. I'd rather it be out a little bit more. So let me pull it out a bit. Push that on the coil there. Just do that. And I pull this out just a little bit more. That's good, I'm content with that. Okay, so that's back together. And clean enough that I would feel content operating it. I think I want to replace this with something else. Because it's like, I don't know, fiberglassy kind of stuff. I don't like it. I want to replace it with a piece of 1/4 inch foam. That's what I typically do. I'm going to do that in this case when I go through the final service and repair of this. I'm going to replace that with Just a piece of regular foam. Okay, so that's good. That's back on. And let's go to the back. Still have to get this slipped over the evaporator here. But I think I'm seeing the way it's supposed to work. I don't know why it was stuck before. I really don't know. But I think I see it now. So, alright. The V-in. Before I put this back on, I want to put a drop of oil in where the Allen screw is, because it was very stiff. And it shouldn't be. Use that. Use this instead. Has any of this even been in the frame? I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. Pay attention, self. Let's see. This one will fit it. That's a hair too small. It's too big. This must be awake. Standard? Yes, it is. It's standard. Okay. I'm going to back this out most of the way, and I'll put a drop of oil on the inside. I can use the infamous black can for this. Okay, and then I'll push this back in, and it should kind of free up after I do this a couple times. Okay, it's just freed up now. It's turning freely. Perfect. Okay, so let's get this back onto the shaft. It's a keyed shaft, so we'll put the key just to the side like that, and we'll slip this on. Okay. So the bearings are getting better. They're not terrible. It's definitely getting better. You notice on here there's a balancing clip. That's pretty cool. You don't see the modern ones come with no balancing clips. They just shake and vibrate, and this is what it is. Nobody cares. Alright, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I guess the bearings aren't that bad. Certainly better than they were, that's for sure. Okay, so now we have the condenser shroud. And this is going to be the fun part, is getting all this back in one shot. A lot of this, it would be useful to have a third hand or a second person. Like guess the second person is the more realistic option. So the shroud, it's going to go, let's see, I think it's going to go like this. Is it going to go like this? Or does this got to go on before the blade? Jeez, I think it does. Daggone it. Okay, no problem, no problem. Mix that oil in there, the blade comes on and off real easy now. I go pretty tight on these things because you don't want them slipping off. Especially this one, it's not notched at all. It's just kind of, it's tightened only by the force of the bolt. Okay, I'm going to attempt to slip this back on now and make sure the condenser and evaporator are where they're supposed to be. Looks like they generally are. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, I see what's got to happen for this to go back on. It's not doing it. There it goes. Something is clearly off on the right hand side. Oh, no, I guess not. It just looked like it. So it slides in and out like every other unit I know of, or most all the other units. So why it wouldn't do that before is beyond me. Oh, it's stuck. I don't know. I don't quite get that. Something sticks. It sticks into place. I'm not really sure why or where, but it sticks. Okay, so now what we do over here, this just presses in, and these little tabs just kind of go into place to those holes. Easy enough. And that's the condenser shroud. Something sitting somewhere. That in the front. It is in the front. Okay, so what's the problem? I guess I misjudged. It's got to go back further on the shaft. So unfortunately, this is going to have to come back out. And this better not stick this time. I don't think that there's anything holding it. I really don't think that there is. But it's stuck. I don't know why it's sticking like that? Well, since I know it doesn't stick to the condenser. The condenser's got to stay in place. I'm going to screw the condenser in. Or the evaporator, rather. This is the evaporator on the front. No, this screw. It's totally stuck. We all just watched it slide off. Do it the way I did it the first time. I'm going to pry this part off, which I can't imagine is really correct, but now it slides up. I don't get that. There's got to be something that holds it in place. I just don't know what it is. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick adjustment on the blade here. This is why I need a bigger area here. This bench is too small for this kind of equipment. Okay, just push it in a little bit. Perhaps not that much. Start grabbing on the back if it's in that far. Alright, I think that's going to be good. It's about 1/8 of an inch in compared to where it was before. So let's try that. I just don't want it to get caught on the back either, because that stuff is not exactly the way it should be. Go again. Get water everywhere. See, I heard something just like click into place. So something latches, and I don't know what it is. But whatever just latched makes it pretty much impossible to get the thing back out. Okay, this time is good. Everything is free. Nothing's colliding with anything. That worthless feature is working. Okay. Now I guess we just gotta screw everything back together. Okay, let's see here. Now we gotta do something about the wiring. I don't like the way this is. This previously was able to scrape up against these two tubes, and I don't want them to be able to do that. It's not correct. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to change this. I'm going to change the way this is wired, and maybe I should not be sitting in water. I think what we're going to do is we're going to route it underneath here, because I just don't want these up against any of the tubes. That's not good. If that's down there like that, unless this, I think these should all reach. I guess that'll be a test. But if that will reach in that state, then I'm just going to secure them all like that. I'll tack them down on here with the other, with the compressor terminals. I think we can put this on before everything else, I think. I have to repaint that brown. I guess that got all screwed up. Maybe it's just dirty, I don't know. I can repaint that. So these wires have to be able to come into here. I think that'll reach. Gotta get the capacitor mounted back in there. Okay. I'm a little bit confused with this because it didn't seem like it was mounting like securely. I don't know. Anyways, let's see here. So this thermostat, we had one yellow that goes to the thermostat. Okay. And for the switch we had the red, the blue, and then the black. Okay, so that's everything in there, and then the rest is we have the hermetics, capacitor connection, and then the fan. One of the fan capacitor, yeah, it is. and there was a ground, which I will reconnect. I'm grounding up here. Okay, so that's all that. Now we have the capacitor, should have, let's see, that and the mains. Now one of these connections was not fitting very securely. I forget which one it was. We're going to find out right now. That's okay. Okay, so it was a matter of the terminal. So what we're going to do to fix this, just gently crimp this down a little bit more. Close up the space there. I guess this was upside down. That's kind of weird. I would prefer it not be upside down, but I don't think there's any other way to... The wires aren't going to fit, so it has to be like that. I guess this must screw on from the front. That's not nearly as secure as it needs to be. Or another... I mean, there's no other hole here, so how did that... Oh, I see how it works. That's got to fit through there, I guess, maybe. It's the only way I can see it working is if that was to go through there. Okay, that makes sense. This just sits down here like this. That's got to be removed. there's plenty of slack on the cord, so I'm going to do what I thought about before. I'm just going to wrap the wires around each other here, and that should keep everything in place. I'll use a yeah, I think that's good. I'll just grab a piece of wire here and tie that up. I'll show why I'm going to do it this way in a minute. Goes in there, okay. And that. Oh, there's nothing there for it to screw on, so I can't go like that. What the heck? I think it's got to go like that. What is this attached to? Okay, that makes sense like that. I just don't quite see how it's being held in place. understand that. This is why I don't like to do things in 2 days, because I forget where stuff goes. Is there a screw there? Okay, there is. There's a screw hole there. I guess that's where it gets screwed out. I think we're ready to do a test run. Yeah, I think so. Kilowatt meter out and plug this thing in. Okay, well, plugged in. That's off. It started up nicely. Certainly moving a lot faster than it was before. Okay, I haven't run the compressor in a while, so it should have a nice startup sound to it. That's 4.5 amps. This thing is not messing around. So, well, I wanted to explain what I was doing with the wiring. The reason why I didn't want to have the wiring tied up where it was originally was because it was able to collide with these two pipes. And it shouldn't do that because over time it can wear holes in them. So I connected it like that, and now it's not going to be an issue. A little bit of frost going, that should go away once it gets going. Return is coming back ice cold. Hot coming out. Hot all the way through. Cold all the way through. It's hard to judge the charge on these things because there's inconsistency based on the speed it's running at. So right now, it's 39 at the bottom and 40 at the top, so there's hardly any superheat going on. If we put it up to high, it may get too much superheat. So, you know, it's a guess with these things. If it's cold coming out, it's probably fine. On high speed, it doesn't always get all the way cold. It just doesn't. On low, it should be. So I guess medium would be the best way to judge it. You know, to see where the temperatures are at. I mean, it's ice on the bottom. That's got to be below freezing. Well, almost. 38, 40. 40 at the top. 55 coming out. That's certainly acceptable. Already sweating here. This is still coming back cold. Condenser's got plenty of air going through it. Yikes, that's coming out hot. Just as it should be. Still coming back cold. It's not as cold as it was on medium, but it's still coming back cold. Dan looks like it's a pretty good clock. Yeah, it's still coming back cold. Charge is fine. I always like to let it run for a minute with the fan on before I shut it off. Just to let because this gets hot. I mean, this is well over 100 degrees. So I just like to let it run for a while to cool off the back, and then I'll shut it off. The pressure didn't heat up at all. Oil's still cold. Alright, that's good, everything's working. So let's finish assembling. And if bearings are getting better. Okay, there's an awful lot of screws left still. That's a little concerning. You can go in the back. Got one in the condenser over here. Secured, this is secured, the operator is secured, everything is secured, so I don't know why we have so many extra screws. Well, I think we're just going to continue. Oh, you know what? Maybe we don't have too many extra screws, because that's afterwards. That's the top thing. It's just these. Alright. So we have this, which goes on here. I see why there's a lot of screws that go on this, I think. Oh jeez, this is full of water. Goof, goof, goof. This needs to be repainted as well. It's a project for another day. Go all the way over there if it's like that. What? It doesn't really make any sense unless it goes on the inside, which I really can't imagine that it does. What in the world? I'm gonna have to look back at the video to see how this was. I guess this goes on afterwards, and this, so this would be on the inside. Okay, yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, I just realized I don't have any side panels for this thing. Now, that's going to make the testing a little bit more difficult. Not impossible, but a little bit more difficult than I would have liked. This and see which screws go on afterwards. It's going to be 2 screws over there, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, looks like we only have one extra screw. That's not too bad. So we did everything mostly correct. Ah, jeez, I forgot this. Maybe I can just open this side and slip it in. No big deal, I can just slip this in like this. My screwdriver is out of charge. Okay. Why is that off center? I guess that's how it goes. I think it should be the other way. But it can't be, it's got to be like this. Okay, that's ready to go. Let's put the cover on. Let's just check the fan one more time, make sure it's not hitting anything. And then this is ready to go upstairs. Give it a good test. Something's not quite right about these, but they're moving on their own. Other than that, it's fine. Alright. That concludes this video. Next one we'll show it in the window.